wait till right now to start cleaning shit up off my desk. That's messed up. Whoa, 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 whoa. Yeah, that's messed up. That is stuff that I'll talk about that on. You guys see what that is? You guys can see that? Do some research on that stuff right there. It's been a while since I've taken it, but you know, I'm actually a fill-in, guys. I'm not gonna lie to you. This is something that Short Porch is going to start doing, and I'm going to get it started, get it up and rolling at the beginning, and then they're going to get somebody in here that will talk about USSSA. I've been out of USSSA for a while. Cage is going to come on in about 30 minutes, and we're going to talk about bats. Short Porch, because we're blowing up when it comes to UTRIP. And the bats that we have right now, I think you guys are going to, I think you guys, it always happens, man. I think you guys will enjoy we talked today a little bit privately about our ASA line that's coming out, bats. But this is going to be talk about nothing but UTRIP. And here's the deal. I'm going to put a spin on it. And it's going to be totally different than seniors, because what I talk about in seniors is what I've learned through UTRIP growing up. I started playing, I've been in UTRIP for 25 years. I played UTRIP ball. Started at 20 years old. Traveled every week. I pitched for 25 years. I retired, got into the freight business, owned about 5 different freight companies, owned a couple of t-shirt companies, screen printing, stuff like that. Whenever I went to Colorado Springs, Colorado. But what I want to do is this going to be a totally different platform when I'm going to talk about things. And I want to educate a lot of UTRIP guys out there about bats. You're different than a senior. You're going to have to pick things. You know, the way seniors, like we're fitting with golf clubs with the seniors, we got to do the same thing with UTRIP, but there's going to be different areas that we're going to talk about. You know, barrel response is going to be not talked about as much. It's only going to be talked about in one category, and that's if you're losing performance in a barrel that you're swinging. And guys, I'm not talking about, I'm talking about across the board when I talk to you guys, because it would be selfish for me to just talk about Short Porch, but we do have great bats that you guys can pick from. But I am experienced with every bat out there, even with the aluminum bats that I swung back in the day too. I did the same thing. I picked bats on weight distribution back in the day for my size, and not getting into the steroid era because it was really bad back then. I can honestly say I never did steroids to actually achieve what I did. I'm not going to sit here and talk about what I did. It's really, I'm not that guy that's going to tell you anything that I've won. Where did I play? Who did I pitch against too? Because you'd be surprised. I've been hit a lot. My worst day pitching was whenever I cracked 2 ribs on a line drive that was hit up the middle, and it ruined me. I wasn't able to pitch after that. I wasn't as effective after that because it really smoked me. A big guy just smoked me up the middle, and I went back to catch it like this, and it hit right underneath the rib and cracked 2 ribs. Came back and played the next day because they didn't have a pitcher, but I was like punching it, like just barely getting it over the infield. And I'm not going to talk about any achievements that I've done because it really doesn't matter. This is just my opinion on what I did in UTRIP. And I'm going to talk on this before, to get it started and up and rolling, because I know someone's going to come in later and take it all over. One of the younger kids, I'm 65. So I could be your guys that are watching this, probably your grandfather. But I've been out there and I've done it, and I want to talk about in little segments on what I did to get to where I was at back in the day, you know, and hitting wise. With aluminum bats back then, you know, that's what we usually swung. I'm not going to sit here and talk about the longest ball I've ever hit with aluminum bat. That doesn't mean anything. But what I will tell you, it's the way I always thought is a different way than everybody else thinks right now. Nobody, not even I don't think the pros will get up here, because here's the deal. I don't consider myself a pro, but I got to their level, and I did it on my own. I did not cheat, right? Doing it. I did not take supplements like you guys see them big guys out there doing it. I can honestly say I never did that. I didn't take what they call it, sports enhancing drugs, anything like that. And I would rip on the guys that took it, that played on my team. That's how I wasn't, here's the deal too. I got to be honest with you. I wasn't a nice guy back then. I really wasn't. A lot of people from San Antonio can tell you this. I was a total ass to a lot of people because I pitched. I had to have that, try to get in people's heads. But off the field, I was good to hang around with. And I wasn't that person. I always went out there and wanted to win, and I tried everything I could to get in people's heads to win, even though being an asshole. And I'll admit I was an asshole. I lost some friends back then. I had people that didn't want to play with me back then either. A lot of you guys don't know this, but that actually happened. I was actually blackballed from San Antonio ball for about 2 years, and I had to go play in co-ed. I went back playing co-ed for a long time because I traveled and played, but I pissed off a lot of people in San Antonio, and I've talked to people about it right now and told them, hey, I'm sorry, that was a different me. I wasn't married. I didn't have kids, didn't have a girlfriend. That's all I did was play softball, and I loved it. I thought it was amazing. But what I'm going to tell you guys in these little segments, not the senior podcast, but the U trip, because I think you guys can benefit from what I did. And how disciplined I was to get to that. I'm 5'9", guys. Back then I was 200 pounds. I'm 5'9", and at 200 pounds, I did a workout routine that nobody else, I actually invented it. I invented my portion of it. It was off of a Lou Simmons workout program because I was a power lifter, and I did not increase a lot of exit velo or a lot of distance until I started doing powerlifting in my late 20s. I could still hit a ball a long ways when I was 25, 26, 27, but it really took off, guys, when I started powerlifting. And I did it different than everybody else. I kind of made my own system is what I did. But what I want to do with you guys that are watching tonight was usually a lot of U-Trip guys, I'm thinking. I'm sure I'm going to have my senior guys get in here and kind of listen to what I have to say because they can benefit from the little things. And listen, guys, I've done so much research growing up, and we didn't have computers back in the day. So I did a lot of asking, and I read a lot of books. I read a lot of papers, doctors' papers too. And I talked to a lot of people. I went to powerlifting seminars. I went to every kind of thing. When I powerlifted, I only competed in ADFPA, which is American Drug-Free Powerlifters Association, because I knew that I could not compete against the guys that were roided up. I knew that at my weight class at 200 pounds, 198. I was actually 198 when I was powerlifting, and I would stay within that 205. When I played softball in my late 20s, early 30s, I stayed in that 205 pound range. I can buy it down to 198 pound class when I wanted to compete. And the one thing I do realize, and you guys need to listen to what I have to say to a lot of you guys tonight that are in that age bracket in your 20s and in your 30s and 30s that want to get better. You know, I do know, and I will tell you this: if you want to hit, bring up your exit velo, you have to put on weight, right? And I learned this by experience because I went up in a 220 pound class when I started powerlifting, and automatically my strength went up. I wasn't dieting down to 198. So automatically went up to 220. My strength went up. Not only did my strength go up, my exit velo went up. So I was hitting the ball 25 feet further. Okay. 20 feet further on average. So definitely if you want to, you guys want to compete, you know, you kids out there that are playing U-Trip, ASA, you want to get to that conference level. That's basically what I'm here to do. You conference guys are going to get on here. Don't even listen, because you're not going to listen to anything I have to say. You've already there. You know, I can tweak a little bit of what you're doing, you know, maybe put you on a bat that doesn't suit you, that you're swinging that's too soft for you. I would say, that has lost its elasticity in the barrel. Uh, I can benefit you guys are getting prepared for a tournament too. I want to talk about that, not necessarily in this one, but in a lot of these that I put out. And I had a regimen, guys, on what I did when I played U-Trip. And I want to get into a few of these, how to prepare yourself for tournaments. And it's different. It's different than senior ball, because I talk about all this stuff about senior ball, and then I will, it's just different. We're older. It's because I'm 65. It takes a lot longer to get ready for a tournament. My muscles take longer to get recoup from either hitting BP or lifting weights. So that timeline is a little bit stretched out. But the timeline I'm going to give you guys, I'd like to give you tonight, is it's a little bit more closer, to get ready for these big tournaments. Not necessarily the weekend tournaments you play on weekends, which I would do in San Antonio back in the day when they'd let me. The one thing I will admit about San Antonio back in the day is we were barred from a lot of these little tournaments in San Antonio. Once we walked in, like we'd try to get picked up, we'd show there at 7:00 in the morning. Tournament director would be going, "Hey, you can't come." And Billy would show up and they go, "Nope, you sit in the stands, you ain't playing," And I hung around with Billy back in the day. Was guilty by association. We get to play a lot, unless it was like an open tournament or something like that. But yeah, we didn't get to play in San. We had to travel and play basically. Bubba was there too. They wouldn't let him play. And a little small group of us guys, when we showed up to a tournament, just to maybe get picked up, they're like, nah, you ain't playing here tonight. But what I want to do is go through a few things on this weekly USSSA ASA podcast. Cage is going to come in here because I think later on he might take this over and kind of talk about some things. I would come in and just talk about what I do to get prepared for a tournament and what, and I don't see anybody out there that's doing this. And it's just, here's the deal too, guys. And I'm just, I'm looking down at that. That is, that's Jeff Kessler telling me about something he just found out about the fat guy. And we're going to talk about Fat Guy BP bat later on, that U-Trip bat. I love that bat. I'm going to talk about this too. This is creatine. It's 10 grams of creatine in this thing right here. First, start off. I actually got it written down here, and I'm going to go through this whole thing. But what I want to do is, nobody out there has this for the kids. And I do call you guys kids because you can be my grandchildren. And this is shit that if my son plays softball, which none of my sons do, my son plays softball or baseball. I have one that I'm trying to get out of retirement because he was a badass. It's Kyle. He was a badass softball player. He was one of those guys, 5'8", could hit it 400 feet. I mean, he's just a good infielder, good outfielder. But he has a family now. He works, so it's hard to get him out. He might come out every once in a while, hit with Clem on those U-Trip bats with short porch. But this is how I taught him to prepare. So I'm going to actually tell you guys how to prepare for a lot of these tournaments and what you should do and what you should get on right off the bat, guys. Right off the bat, I'm going to tell you right now. If you're going to sit here and ask me about steroids, if you're going to ask me what best steroid to take, because I know a lot of you guys out there, well, a few of you guys, it's not as rampant as it used to be back in my day in the 80s and 90s, because guys, it was rampant back then. And I'm not going to talk to you about that because I think, in my opinion, I didn't do it, and I don't want you to take shortcuts to do it. I got there on a lot of nutritional stuff, a lot of supplementation, and I'm going to talk to you guys. Talk to you guys about all the stuff that I did to prepare. Hard fucking work, guys. I didn't cheat the system. I did hard work to get where I was at or get where I got to achieve a lot of good things and with a lot of good people and with a lot of good teammates. The one thing I will tell you across the board is I was an asshole back then, but everybody thought I was a great teammate because I had their back on everything that they did. Even if I didn't care that I played with them, I'm not that guy where if I don't like somebody, I'm not going to play with him. Because if he's a hell of a ball player and he can benefit me because I was a pitcher, I would want him I didn't have to eat with him. I didn't have to hang out with him, but he would help me win. That's the kind of guy that I was. And I was that hoorah guy in the dugout. I never trashed anybody, none of my players. I would talk smack to the other team a little bit, a guy coming up, try to get into his head. And then after it was over, I would hang out with them. Hey, what's going on? And be looking at me like, what the hell, dude? But I was a pitcher, guys. You got to understand that. But I will not talk to you guys about any enhancing, under the counter, illegal shit. I didn't believe that back in the day, and I'm not going to tell you guys what to take or what to do. Jeff, I can't read that stuff, man. Anyway, and I just need to. Cage is gonna come up here in a minute. That's actually him and Jeff talking to each other. But I will tell you some nutritional things. The first thing I'm going to talk about, and I'm kind of jump around a little bit here, guys. Right away, if you play U-Trip ball, if you're the kids out there, and I've been taking this since I was 29 years old, and don't believe bad things you hear about this stuff. If you start taking this stuff, automatically you're going to put on about 10 pounds, right? Which is not a bad 10 pounds you're going to put on. It's not fat you're going to put on. It's water retention, but it doesn't going to make you puffy, right? It's actually going to fill the muscles up. It's going to help pull nutrients into the muscle, right? This is the kind that I take, right? It's creatine. Everybody out there, and HMB, look it up. Just look this stuff up. In my opinion, and here's another thing too. If you got that unflavored stuff, try to mix it in with a little bit of sugar, because actually the sugar helps absorb it a lot faster into the body. Do not load this stuff. Just take 5 grams a day is what you should. I actually take 2 to 3 times that much because I'm a senior, and actually helps my brain. Helps with brain fog, helps me think a lot better, especially when I'm doing a podcast tonight. I do 10 to 15 grams of this stuff. I don't get in sticking points when I'm talking. You guys know, have seen me on the senior page. I can get into sticking points. It increases strength, guys. This is the best, in my opinion. This is the best natural stuff. And guys, it's in steaks. Our body already had, when you eat, we consume creatine when you eat steak. So it's in steaks. This is mass loading it into your body. What will happen is when you go through blood work, if you guys are doing any kind of blood work, it will increase your creatinine levels. Tell your doctor you're on it, because he won't freak out thinking that you have some kind of kidney function problem. It actually puts more protein in your urine, and that's a bad thing. If you don't tell him what you're taking, say, hey, that's not a problem, I'm taking creatine, and all of a sudden he goes, okay, you're good, because that would be a red flag. They'd have to look at that. Definitely everybody out there that plays U-Trip ball, I took this, guys, and it increased. I can tell when I was on it, and I can tell when I was off of it. That's how good that shit is. Powerlifting, I can tell. When powerlifting meets come up, I was training, I was on that shit religiously. That's one thing too. Another thing too, guys, I'm not going to sit here and talk to you guys about TRT, testosterone replacement therapy. I know a few people in their 30s that get on it, but that means that they check with their doctor. Doctor said they were low, and they got on a low dose of it. I will say this. There is some stuff out there, I'm going to talk about one of them today, that will increase your testosterone, and it's over the counter. All right. Seniors, if you guys seniors are out watching, do not take any of this, because at your age, your testosterone is way low, 200, 250, 300. This stuff, anything that you take that says increases your testosterone by 1,000%, by 100% is bullshit, right? But what the kids need to understand is this. If it increases your testosterone 30%, and 30% is the top of the line supplement out there that increases testosterone, you only absorb 30% of it. Okay? That's the top of the line. So if let's say you have an 700-800 and you're increasing it by I need to get rid of that, but if it increases it by 30%, 30% of 600, 30% of 700, 30% of 800, usually you guys in your 20s should have at least an 800-900 testosterone. 30s, it starts to deplete a little bit. You should be at 700s. This will help you out. It's going to increase it a little bit, 20-30%. You know, if you get that low end, it's about 10% low. I'm talking about low end supplement. Tunga Ali, listen to me. Tunga, I look it up. I don't have it with me because I don't do that, because my testosterone was tanked. If I would 30% of 200 testosterone, I'd be 260. So it's really small, right? And you're still symptomatic at 400. So you kids out there that are watching this, it might be wise if you guys look up Tunga Ali, get on it. It's just a pill form. You buy it at your health food store, you know, any kind of supplement place. A hardcore supplement place has them in there. And talk to them about Tunga Ali, or get on YouTube and look under Tunga Ali. It will increase your testosterone by 30%, 25%. That's it. Don't listen to those guys that say 100% or shit like that. It doesn't. But you kids can benefit from them. I don't talk about that much with the seniors because they can't benefit from 30% increase in testosterone. You're still symptomatic. It's not going to raise it like it would when you're at 800%, 900%. Let's say you're 1,000, you're in your 20s, 21, 22, and it raises 1,000%. You know, if you have 1,000 testosterone and you're mixing in 30%, that's quite a bit of jump, and you're going to feel it strength wise and getting rid of some fat, which you shouldn't have any fat on you at 1,000 testosterone anyway. So that's another thing too. These are just little things I'm going to talk about tonight. God dang it, Cage. And I can't go into everything. Creatine, I see that on there. Talk about my history. I'm gonna kind of hit this one real fast here. If you guys want to be, and I'll be guys are listening to me tonight are probably, if you're a weekend warrior, I'm not talking to you. If you're a guy that wants to move up and play that conference, you know, to train for that conference, I'm going to talk to you guys too here. And the weekend warrior guys, drinking is a no-no. I did not drink the whole time that I was playing USSSA. I had to be on top of my game. I was a pitcher, so I had to be alert every game. I had to be alert because the pitcher is, I think, in my opinion, is the head guy that runs your team. He's the head guy, directs people, tells them where they're going, where he's going to go pitch. If I would bust guys inside, I would actually pull them to the left-hand side. We didn't play a 5-man back then, which I thought we should have, but we didn't start playing a 5-man until I got to be in my 40s when I was pitching, and then we started playing a 5-man. And that was a long time ago. That was 25 years ago. So a pitcher is in control of everything. So I couldn't drink. I wasn't a big drinker anyway, you know, beer drinker. No, did not do that. But when it came to a couple of mixed drinks, that was it. You never caught me drunk anywhere. But I know what alcohol can do to your body. So I know that if you want to be the top of your game, that's one thing you're going to have to cut out, because for one, it's a diuretic. You're going to be dehydrated when you're playing. Any supplements that you take, guys, I take about 15 pills a day, maybe more, 15 to 20 pills a day. And anything I consume, if I drink alcohol or any kind of liquor, it's going to go through me, because it's a diuretic. You're just going to pee everything out. All this tonight too. One thing you guys got to understand is all this tonight applies to the ladies too. So the ladies that are watching this applies to you too, on these workouts and how to be prepared. I'm going to kind of go right straight to preparing for a tournament. If you guys work out, I would suggest a lot of you guys on here work out to get in shape. It actually accelerates. If you want to get somewhere, right, and you have this vision that you want to get somewhere, you want to play at that level, it accelerates you getting there a lot faster. If you work out, if you can work out some kind of workout regimen, if you guys get with me, I have a list of them that are mine that I did. I kept them from like when I was in my 20s and 30s and 40s. I have a list of them. They're on a flash drive. I can send them over to you guys. And basically, it's 3 different workout routines, because you got to do cycles when it comes to workout routines. You just can't stay with the same workout routine. In the off season, you know, I'm kind of going through this pretty fast, but in the off season, what I would do is I would bulk up. I would get stronger. And then in the on season, when I started playing, I would do little workout routines so I didn't get too tight. You don't want to go into a tournament tight. You want to go into a tournament strong and loose, right? A lot of stretching back then. My workout routines are different. I'm more of a powerlifting routine, not a bodybuilding routine. I wanted to get stronger. I did not want to get bigger, and definitely um, not a endurance workout. I never did because okay, you got three different kind of workouts, right? You got the powerlifting workout, 4 to 6 reps. Then you got the bodybuilding to get the big muscles. You guys want to get big and be at the gym. This is not for you, right? You get the 8 to 10 reps, 4 to 6 to do powerlifting, get stronger, but your muscles don't grow as much, but you get stronger, dense muscle. But when you do want to get bigger muscles, you do the 8 to 10, which really doesn't help you much. It helps you a little bit, but it didn't really help you much when it comes to softball. I wanted an explosive movement, moving the bat from point A to point B. But it's a powerlifting move, right? You don't want to sit there and move the bat to point A to point B with a little resistance and just sit there and do an endurance run. You're not going to create any white muscle fiber. Hitting a softball it's creating white muscle fiber. Even simulating, hitting BP, removing the bat as fast as you can from point A to point B, as fast as you can, creates white muscle fiber. That's what you need to concentrate on doing. That's more of a powerlifting move. Bodybuilding, just getting all tied up and getting big. I can go into the group of muscles later on and what actually you need to work. A lot of traps, a lot of back, triceps, lats, forearms, because when you do close grip on all the benches you do. You guys got close grip, do close grip. Do not do wide grip. Do close grip on the bench. Works forearms, hammers. The only hammers, you don't do curls. You don't do curls. You're going to do hammers, which is this way. There's that top right in this area right here, what you need for softball. No pecs, 0 pecs, guys. I know it looks good in the beach, but for softball, you don't use these muscles to hit. So that's how come I recommend close grip. This close grip on the bench. You should be holding dumbbells like this either. Dumbbells hold like this, right? Keep your elbows in, work the tricep. Just a few things. You guys can go back and look at this later on too. Preparing for a tournament before Cage comes on here. I think I can get through this one. Preparing for a tournament. All of my workout routines stopped on a Tuesday. When I was in my prime, I would work out till Tuesday. That was it. And I would rest all the way till I played on the weekend. Recuperation is key here. And I talked to guys about this, and I had them do an experiment 40 years ago, where guys would tell me, I'm my strongest when I got out of the gym and I went right straight to the field. Yes, you are, because your body's not rebuilding itself. So it's a false sense of you're a badass or you can hit the ball far. Because what I say is, what about the next day? Because your body starts to recoup, right? It takes, even different muscles on your body, the bigger they are, the longer it takes to actually heal. And they do, because you're ripping muscle fiber when you're in the gym working out. So whenever you're doing let's say a powerlifting routine, and it's in your back, your lats, it takes 4 days for those lats to recoup, right? But the night that you go out, it makes it kind of like you're all loose, your blood flowing, you feel good, and you're just smacking it. My best games were, on a Wednesday night, whenever after I got out of the gym. I understand that, but your body's not recouping itself yet. Try to hit the next day and the next day after that. And then maybe 3 days after that, when your body's not totally repaired itself, go after that and hit. I bet you'll hit like shit. You'll be all tied up. You need to stretch, you just won't feel good. So what I would do on my workout routine, if I played a big tournament on the weekend, I would usually start on Tuesday, and it'd be a light workout on Tuesday. And then I would hit balls on Wednesday, hit balls on Thursday, very little, not a lot, but I would rest. I would hydrate and I would rest. This is all for you U-Trip ASA guys. I would hydrate and I would rest. I would just lounge around. And then tournament come up back then. Remember, guys, it was on a Saturday morning, and Sunday tournaments. Well, I'm not with seniors. It's on a Friday morning, but on Saturday morning back then we'd go. But I would do on Friday. I didn't do shit. I didn't hit balls on Friday. I'm recouping. I done stretched out from hitting balls, and I do a lot of stretching routine. Saturday morning, we'd all meet at the field, the tournament that we're at, and I would take light BP just to get loose. I would take some light BP, and then I was ready. At that time, all of my glycogen levels were actually stored. I'd carved up the night before. Um, that routine is not like senior routine. I kind of preach to the seniors, don't eat a lot of steak, carb up the night before, stay away from steak, stay away from Mexican food. But at that age is doing, a lot of U-trip. Your body can handle that. It can burn it. And if you are working on a workout routine, your body's just going 100 miles an hour. Seniors are not that way. So it's got to be separated, so I'm going to kind of go against some shit. You can actually eat as much as you can, not as much as you can, but kind of stay away from the fatty, the hard to digest foods on a Friday night. You can grab yourself a steak and you can eat a steak. I actually found that steaks on a Friday night before a tournament are actually really good for strength for the next day. Every day before when we do powerlifting, the night before powerlift, we would actually eat a big steak, right? Because the steak's got a lot of steroids in them, because of our cattle, right? It has a lot of hormones in them. What actually would benefit, it benefits strength, right? Next day, have a great tournament. Body would digest it because we were in our 20s and our 30s, and we didn't have trouble with it. But you got to prepare for those tournaments. Oh, looky here. You got to prepare for those tournaments that you are going to play. Just a few of the stuff. I see you.
What's going on?
Not much. What is the stuff that I'm getting over the phone right now about something?
About 40 minutes ago, Adam Fowler and the Fat Guy BP crew dropped their review of the USSSA Jawbreaker. And they named it the #1 U-Trip bat on the market.
No way.
Yeah, Josh hit it 112 mile an hour, and he mentioned in the end of the review that I said it was something special, and he couldn't agree more.
So that you can hear me, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Again, you're low. Like I can hear you, but it's like it was last week. As long as everybody else can hear you, I can't see the comments, but as long as everybody else on here can hear you, then that's great. Yeah, I'm actually just looking at the comments right now. All right, so the Fat Guy BP ranked it as the #1 USSSA bat that he's ever done, and that's the Jawbreaker.
Josh and Adam over at Fat Guy said the Jawbreaker was the #1 USSSA bat on the market.
Sweet. And anybody else did a review on that?
I'm not sure.
Okay, everybody can hear you, so you're good. I just got to lean in a little bit. Turn my hearing aid on. So I don't have a hearing aid, guys. I'm just messing with him. So someone the other day, I won't say his name on here because he's a senior, but he does bat reviews for seniors, and he was talking about that DDT in the Alan Hancock bat was a badass bat, and he can't wait to get the Brandon Murray bat in, but that's senior bat. That's a different monster there. But I was talking to the guys about where we're going, especially with this U-Trip. He says he thinks Chef did a review on it too, and I think I saw that review. I didn't open it up and see it, but he did said good things on the, he does those little thumbnails, and he was talking really good about it on the thumbnail. So yeah, definitely. But I was basically talking about the same things I've been talking to you about, weight wise, because if you want to move up, if you want to hit balls, exit velo goes through the roof. You're going to have to put on 10 pounds, 15 pounds, but good pounds. I'm not talking about going out and eating hamburgers every night, to get that weight on you, and kind of get. And I know here's a problem about that, and I know I'm bitching and moaning to you about it a lot, but the problem with that is
every day it seems like.
What?
I said every day it seems like.
Yeah, the problem with you is your metabolism's going through the roof because you're what, 21? Your metabolism's through the roof, so it's hard to put on weight at your age right now. You're going to put weight on, but it's just hard for you because you're just burning, going 100 miles an hour, either at work, doing your other job, or playing softball. So definitely it's hard for you to put on weight. I know that for a fact, You're different than what I was back in the day. Your metabolism is different than I was back in the day. It was easy for me to put on weight back in the day to get ready for softball. So that's the problem that I think kids like you, that your guys you hang around with, that basically look like you, built like you, and everything. You're not. I've never seen you with a big guy. Maybe a little bit bigger, but not much. And I'm sorry I insulted your friends here, but they're not they're not muscled up and shit. They could be so much. And I look at them like, dude, you could be so much better if you just did little things. And that's what we're going to talk about in the next month on this podcast, is how to make a lot of people better in the senior market and the ASA market that want to get better. And guys, here's another thing too. I don't know if I've got a few guys on here that we like the weekend players, right? We're not the conference players. I guarantee you we don't have one conference player, unless it's a short porch conference player, watching this tonight. Mainly because they're already taken care of. They're playing on a team that's supplied with bats, and they're going to listen to us talk about short porch stuff. But those guys, there's a lot more of those other guys that want to get better, that want to know what bat fits them, what bat weight distribution wise, flexi handle. I think that seems to be the main thing that USSSA guys ask for, our ASA. How long is it going to last? How long is it going to hold compression? Which I don't think that's really, on some tournaments it is, but a lot of guys don't. It doesn't. The compression thing doesn't bother them that much either. What size bat? What do you get as what the size of bats? What are USSSA guys looking for? Because it's different in senior ball too.
See, in U-Trip, a lot of guys are swinging lighter weights. Your vast majority, you're swinging 25s and 26s.
That's why they're off the shelf so fast.
Right.
That's why we order. And that's another thing. Somebody said this the other day. Why don't we order any 28? Why don't you make a 30-ounce bat? Supply and demand.
Because that is the 1%.
Yeah, that's the 1%. And we usually wind up with a lot of bats in the warehouse if we order a lot of those.
Right.
A lot of bats in the warehouse, and it's about catering to the masses that want. We do, but what people don't understand, and Cage, we talked about this at one time too, is people don't understand is our weight distribution numbers aren't like other bat companies, and we know that. We build them that way because I can get more bat speed out of a 27-ounce bat, because I've swung them before, right, with less handle weight than you swing a 30-ounce bat with more handle weight. People don't understand that.
Absolutely.
I can get more performance on that lower hand weight bat.
Right. Exactly that. We have lower hand weights than the vast majority of companies. Other companies have high hand weights and want to market their high hand weight bats as end load, but with that much weight in the hands, they're not end loaded bats anymore.
No, and then they call it a mid load, which there's no such thing unless you got a DDT. DDT is a true mid load. Right. And that's the only mid load ever made across the board on any bat company forever. We're the one who invented it, right? It's out there. And that's a true mid load because it does have weight in the middle. But you're right, 100%. A lot of people out there, and I've weighed those bats. I've weighed all the top bat manufacturers out there. They're calling it a max load or the mother load and stuff like that, but they got high hand weight, and it's really not. And it's deceiving the people out there. And I think people are taking that knowledge. Like, you can build a high hand weight and do a 30-ounce bat, right? But if I built that bat for him and I made it that end weight being that 20 ounces on the end, let's say it's 20 ounces on the end, and I put an 88 on the hands, he's not going to be able to swing it. He's going, what did you do here? Well, you wanted a 20 ounces on the end. That's the way we build those. There's no way he can generate bat speed with that bat. 20 ounces on the end is really hard. It's hard to swing that bat. But since the bat that he was swinging had a high hand weight, he could swing it. But that does nothing for performance, right?
Not only that, if we did a 20-ounce barrel weight with a 88 on the hands, the barrel wouldn't be able to hold up.
Yes, and they don't understand that because they're using a bat that has a thick ass barrel on it to hold that weight. I don't even think he's using an 88 on the hands and 20 ounces on the end. I've never weighed a bat that had that, but I've weighed a bat that had 20 ounces on the end and 12.5 on the hands. So how can that bat perform when it's swinging like a balanced bat and it just swings heavy? You know, that's like in the old days. You don't even know this, but back in the 80s and 90s, everybody talked about swinging a 35-ounce bat. I swung a 32-ounce bat. I swung a 30-ounce bat back in the day. But what they don't understand is the hand weight was too high. It was like a bat swinging a balanced bat that was 30 ounces back in the day. The performance sucked. You didn't get no compression out of that barrel because they didn't want that in weight. They didn't want that barrel to implode on their, our, what do they call it, our bend, because it was aluminum, thick ass aluminum to hold up that big weight. So your 32 ounces weren't really 32 ounces because it didn't have that wind weight. A lot of people don't understand that. It didn't have that end weight on it. They had high hand weight and high end weight, you know, which made it a log. It's like swinging a log.
Right. And then you have a lot of people coming from other bat companies that are marketing their bats as, an ounce and an ounce and a half and 2 ounce end loads that are not even, an ounce end loads. They're really less than half ounce end loads when you weigh the bat out because of how high the hand weight is.
Yes. And they get no performance. They get,
Right.
I've said this in the past. It's the same thing when it comes to U-trip ball is they, and I'm not picking anybody out, but what I found with U-trip ball is very hard barrels and very high hand weight. And you know that the weight distribution has got to be in the eights. I'm giving too much away here, but I've always given that away. But it's got to be in the eights to get barrel flex. So you got to have end weight compared to, it's a distribution number. What I want to talk about this too a little bit tonight was when you're buying from Short Porch, or you AAA guys, your ASA guys come around, you're getting from Short Porch, you're getting the weight distribution numbers. And I said this last night, the weight distribution numbers are spot on because we've done research on all the Butrip bats out there. We have, I gave you, remember, I gave you weight distribution numbers on all the bats that I've swung in the last 15 years. You have that. And those numbers were high in the hands on all these big bat companies out there. And that's the same way they did their U-trip bats. We don't do that. We get low hand weight, a controllable hand weight, because you can get out of hand there. We have a controllable hand weight on all our U-trip bats, which actually helps with performance on that barrel. And we got a badass Kevlar barrel on our bats too. So that's what we're here to preach to a lot of the guys out there when they're watching this about where U-trip is going with our bats. Look at the Adam Fowler, the fat guy bat. It's got a no flex handle, which is one of those supply and demand kind of things that we're building on all of our U-trip models, because a lot of kids out there like that no flex handle, which I don't, your dad calls it a no flex. I've swung log handles, and because of the weight distribution, ours is badass. Our no flex handles are badass. I mean, and then we have the end weight that actually it's like a formula. You got the weight distribution, you got the no flex for the senior bat, and it turns into what Adam's bat is right now, that one piece on his bat.
Well, we've always thought, and it's been proven that flex equals velo, and nobody likes flex handles for whatever reason. They don't want to get used to them, which is okay. We will adapt to the market, but what we did was the DDT. And you take the DDT, you take a stiff handle, which is okay because that's what the market wants, but you took that flex and put it in the barrel because of the DDT, and that's where we won.
Yeah, definitely. And then what I don't know who's watching tonight, and but I do want to go through this real fast. Just bear with me, and about the DDT model, and the one that Adam's talking about tonight, and I'm sure that's going to probably be up on Facebook. But let me explain to you about the DDT model. This is Short Porch's DDT model. I'm going to kind of show it to you right here. This is it. And I did this myself. I took that out of there. This is one of the first DDTs that was out there. And what you have here is this area right here. This area right here has weight in it. Usually on all the other bats out there, it's got a little bit of connection here. This one has weight in this connection right here. It's put in this barrel. And then if you take this barrel and you put it on a weigh-in system, like I do on my weigh-in system, and it's 10 here and 10 here. So it's equally distributed in weight. So what that happens is And plus, because of the connection they put in here, this big ass, I can't even say, Leslie would actually call it, but it's not rubber, but it's that weighted area right here. It keeps all the energy in the barrel. We found that out too. And not only that, is when you swing it, it has a fluid swing. It comes through the zone pretty fast. So it has a fluid swing on you guys that haven't heard about the DDT models. And it's a model that nobody's ever done. What I get with it, and I know Cage talked about this too, to me one day, what I get with it is a more of a fluid swing and more of a consistent ball strike. That's what I get in the senior models, and it's no different than the U-Trip and the ASA model that's probably going to come out in another 4 or 5 months on the ASA one. But is that what do you see with the DDT?
Josh said that on his Josh from Fat Guy BP said that on the review at the end, when it released today, that the average, he wasn't more impressed with the velo, the max velo. He was more impressed with what the average was. He said the barrel was just like a whole sweet spot. The
Yeah,
sweet spot was small. It was like the entire barrel, and I agree. And that was my thing. It was more consistent. The numbers were more consistent. It was forgiving. The misses are better than others.
I 100%. And you can hit that ball to center or that 5-6 hole, or even if you're going to go oppo, like Brandon Murray's back got oppo, great oppo. Well, Brandon Murray, but on his DDT, he got great oppo distance. I get great when I get my arms extended, because there's some videos coming out on that. When I get my arms extended, I can kill it with this bat. Opposite glove hand side. I'm not talking about going middle. I'm talking about going over him. I get tremendous exit, tremendous distance. But the consistency is what I like, because I'm an average hitter. I'm not a big home run hitter. I'm an average hitter. So I get up there and I smack 5-6-0, but I can constantly do it because of the way how fluid the barrel is, and how it comes through the zone fast. Now, guys, if you guys pick up a DDT, this is one thing you got to understand. If you pick up a DDT, it takes a little bit while to get used to it, right? And you can't be jumping from bat to bat to bat. You can't be jumping back and forth at one piece, somebody else's bat. You can, even our bats, you can't be jumping back and forth, because it just takes a little while to get used to the DDT. You can go from the DDT into one of those other bats really fast, but get back into the DDT, it just takes a little bit longer to get the reps in, to get your swing back.
Right, and that's just because the DDT is just unlike any other.
Yeah, yeah, and guys, the DDT is so good, and we know it's so good. It's going into fast pitch, it's going into ASA, and we actually got a model out there that's a BB core bat, a baseball bat too, that is a DDT. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Okay. So, and Brandon Murray is supposed to be talking about that BB core bat, but he's actually got a bunch of guys that are doing that. Fat guy bat. Now, this is another thing too. Talking about the Jawbreaker and the U-Trip model. When are we getting some more in?
I believe it should be about 5 to 6 weeks. 5 to 6 weeks, we should have more on the floor.
And that's the same thing as Fat Guy BP do?
Fat Guy BP should be about 5 weeks as well, yeah.
About the same. And both those
Yeah.
bats sold out, guys, on that U-Trip side.
I did load on the website today only one of every single weight in the senior Jawbreaker. I put one of every single weight in the senior Jawbreaker on the website today.
Oh, that senior one?
Mm-hmm. I'm not sure what's left, but I did load one of every size onto the website today in the senior Jawbreaker.
Let's talk about the Moon Doggy. Is it Moon Dog? We have a Moon. It's the hot chicken.
We have the hot chicken in stock. In my opinion, that would be the best one-piece balance we have. And it was a well sought after bet. That's why we brought it back in the original way.
What's the other one we have? I thought
Banana,
it was a Moon Doggy, but it's not. It actually
banana milkshake.
the banana milkshake.
Yeah,
We have some of those in.
Yeah, we have plenty of those on the floor. My opinion on that would be that is the best balance bet we have.
Now that is that bat hasn't changed, but it's in high demand because a lot of people like the previous model, right? So our milkshake line is just named every time it different that it comes out. I was talking to somebody about that the other day. I just want to clarify it on that milkshake model. This time it's the banana milkshake. Before that, it was the mint milkshake, I think too. So
Yeah, there was a white milkshake, which was an inloaded version, and then we had the strawberry milkshake, which was balanced. The chocolate milkshake, which was balanced. The mint milkshake, which was balanced, and now the banana milkshake, which is
And that
balanced.
one has a little flex in the handle.
Correct. It is a mid flex.
Yeah, because of
However,
the
now that's not too flexy because it is a balance.
yeah, because it doesn't have mass to flex that handle, so it actually
Correct.
works really good. Definitely.
When we hit that, me and Will Robbins, we we were kind of torn because you know we thought that was the best balance bat we had swung yet, and we swung it right there with the jawbreaker, and me and Will both put one of each in our bag. We both put the jawbreaker in our bag and the banana milkshake because that's just how highly we thought of it.
What else do we have coming? Do we have anything coming out? Do you know?
Early October you'll have Anthony Munoz's signature bat that'll be right there ahead of USSSA Military Worlds. Um, the 240 Wig Popper, which is a one-piece 12-inch barrel with Spintech, will be releasing in September on the U-Trip side.
Yeah. Who do we have? Oh, I got him right here. Who do you guys? The one thing we talked about this guy the other day, and I kind of want to talk about him tonight. And correct me if I'm wrong. Isn't he out of Tennessee?
Yeah,
Is it
Peyton
Tennessee?
Henderson.
Yeah, Peyton Henderson.
Correct.
I didn't know. I heard a bunch after we got him. I heard a bunch of good things about him. But he's going to start doing a lot more video, guys. He's going to be one of our factory hitters. Peyton Henderson is his name. He's already. Dude, I hope he's not that one guy. And he actually messaged me yesterday and today, and I'm like, I said, you need to start doing that to Cage because Cage is that U-Trip guy. I'm the senior guy, so I only come around when somebody's in trouble or somebody beats somebody up in the dugout of a somebody beats up their coach in the dugout. That's the only time that I get phone calls.
We can't go down that road today. We're going to be suspended next week.
I know, but that's funny. That is funny, guys. That's the only time that I get phone calls when somebody gets in trouble. Did you hear about this? And what are you going to do? So,
yeah. No. Speaking of Peyton, I agree with you. I heard a lot of things after the fact today, this morning, and throughout this afternoon. I just heard good things about him.
But he's a big social media guy too. I mean, he puts out a lot of video, and that's what we like. Somebody that's a good person, that represents the brand and puts out a lot of video, and doesn't, he'll go to tournaments and talk to people too, and then highlight. He already told me about guys that he knows are going to buy. They're looking for that that DDT too. So that's one thing. Let me ask you this. This is something I wanted to add. Maybe you can talk to a lot of people. You do work with a lot of the reps, and you do work with a lot of the factory hitters too, mainly on that U-Trip side. If someone wanted to be a rep, I mean, I know there's things that you got to do, but if someone wanted to be a rep, and I've talked about this too on the senior side, but on the U-Trip side, I talked about it a little bit. But if someone wants to be a rep, what do they have to, what state are they from? I mean, I know we can't have a lot of reps in one state or two states or whatever. But what do they have to do? I mean, get a hold of you guys, one, and then nobody. We vet a lot of people, and it takes a while, right? It takes a while. It's a process in doing it.
It's definitely not a short process.
All right, don't push
Can you hear
anything
me?
on that. Yeah, I can hear you. Like if the phone rings, don't touch anything because that's what you'll be gone. You'll be gone. Your dad did that. He was like, he was gone. So yeah, I can hear you. See what I mean? He touched shit. He touched stuff. He's gonna talk about the rep part because that's mainly. I don't want to. Here's the deal too. As a worker for Short Porch, we don't step on other people's toes. I pushed to accept you and it didn't. So send it to me again. But as I don't step on their toes. Okay, I got you back. Can you hear me?
I don't know what. Yeah, I don't know what happened.
Okay.
But as I was saying, first and foremost, we're looking for your character. How do you carry yourself? How are you acting at the fields? We want good people representing our brand, and that's just our biggest first and foremost.
And then where do you have to be located at? Where, I mean, in other words, we're not gonna. Everybody doesn't get in if you want to be a rep. Everybody doesn't want to get in. The one thing we're not looking for anymore, I think, is we're not looking for factory hitters, right? We have a
Correct.
lot of factory hitters, so we are looking for reps, but it depends on where you're at, right? Because we can't have 5 reps, or we can't have 10 reps in Texas that are representing a brand, and also because all the reps, even the senior reps, sell U-trip bats.
Yep.
So
Everybody
um,
sells everything. There's
yeah,
no
everybody sells everything.
there's no one rep that only sells U-trip bats or only one rep that only sells senior bats. Everybody sells everything.
Yeah, definitely. So if you guys want to be a
I think I have
rep,
some availability in the Midwest, like the northern Midwest area, and maybe some availability in the northeastern area.
yeah. So we're limited. We're actually, because of us blowing up, we actually I'll talk about something now. Actually, we have a lot of people that want to be a part of this brand. Let me ask you this: how many people have called you and asked for jobs? And just
Quite a few. Quite a few. We aren't a big corporate company. We're a small company. There's only 6 of us. There's me and Christian, then you have Dad and Leslie, you have Erica, and then there's you. There's only 6 of us.
yeah,
Outside of that, we have our reps, which obviously are based off of commission. They make money on what they sell, but you know we're a small company. We're not really looking for to hire anybody.
yeah. Because I've gotten the resume sent to me in the mail, like, because my email's out there on the website, right? So I'll get a whole like 3 or 4 page resume talking about he wants to work for us, and he'll talk about salary, and he just wants to get up there and work for us. I'm like, no, dude, we're years away from that. We're a couple of 3 years away from doing that stuff. But but if we're growing the way we have been growing, it might be sooner than that. But we're open to it once we get that big. We're open to it, but we got to get there first, and it looks like it's
Right.
getting there pretty quick.
Yeah, we're growing pretty rapidly, and me and Dad are awfully pleased with how we've been operating this year.
Definitely, and around a bunch of good people too, because without them, and without them, I don't think we'd be where we're at. It would just take us longer without our reps out there that are doing, our factory hitters that are out there talking about or sharing the brand. What I do get a lot, and I know you do get this too, and I want to explain it. A lot of people are asking for demos. Now we don't do demos. We don't hand out demos or reps. The reps have the reps might have some demos, but the problem we're having, and I'm going to give you some examples here. The problem that we're having is the last run of U-Trip bats were gone
Hmm.
within 2 or 3 days. I mean, they're gone. They're all sold out, and because of the social media platform that we have, the social media presence that we have a lot of people out there doing video, and we just can't grab that bat and send it. It takes 4 days to get there, especially for me. It takes 4 days to get to me, unless they overnight it, which they're not going to. But at 4 days to get to me, and by that time it's gone. And what are you laughing at? That's my biggest complaint. Like, I'm so far away, and by the time everybody's done a review on it, and I'm the last guy to get it, so nobody tunes in to me.
Okay,
They like look at
okay.
me like
You got Brandon's bat before I even got to touch it.
that was the only one. He only had 2 of them. That's the only reason I got that one. And then here's the deal, guys. I get the little bats because I'm a senior guy. So they get all the 27s. I get the 25s, right? And I'm like, and I know Cage probably has something to do with that too, because the deal about what I was getting to before rudely interrupted, but what I was going to get to was that we don't have a lot of demos. Even to our reps, we don't have a lot of demos we can get out, because we do sell out pretty fast. Even on that senior market, when we have something that's coming up that we really do like, it's hard for us to get those bats out, because they do go really fast. And then we supply bats to other sporting goods stores too, so they go to them first before anybody gets anything. They actually get them before me. The stores do, or even y'all, because y'all get them before me, so they're right out the door. Um,
Yeah, there's no
Yeah,
real
Hawaii
reason
is,
to
but okay,
there's no
that's
real
different.
reason to hand out demos when we sell out bats as fast as we can.
Yeah, definitely, 100%, 100%. Um, what else you got to talk about? I know you got a list of stuff that you can throw out there, which I don't think you did. You even work on that today?
No, not really. We were pretty slammed in here today. I'm not gonna lie. Um, you know, I kind of just want to revisit and express the banana milkshake. Um, the way we've been just steadily R&Ding it, and it's not only proving itself to be our best balance bet yet, but it is proving to hold compression unlike any other. So it's not only hottest, but it's also have a crazy longevity.
And that's, let me ask you this: what kind of composite is that?
The banana milkshake's Kevlar.
Yeah, definitely. Someone was asking me the other day, and I just wanted you to say it. I already know it is, but I wanted you to say it that way. I don't mess up, and you mess up if it's wrong. Is that it's that oh, they're asking if it's Zoc composite. I said I don't think it is, but I will check with Cage. Because when we have our podcast to see if it is. Are you going? Let me ask you this: who's going to come in? Do we have a group of people that put in resumes on who's going to be the U-Trip podcaster guy, the guy that is as as flamboyant as me, a guy that gets out there and is just so charismatic, talk about anything. Is that who's going to, I really hope that guy is you, that gets out there and
Yeah,
just runs those USSSA podcasts,
yeah, I wouldn't
you
mind
know?
doing. I wouldn't mind, starting it and bringing on some different people to talk about different things, across
Well,
the
I
country.
think it would be great if I can come in, or we can do kind of guests with me if you run it off your platform, and then I would come in and just talk about little things that getting prepared for a tournament, visualize, locked in. A lot of these guys need, that want to get better and that they can do, and just bring me in for probably like a 15-20 minute. I promise I won't talk over you,
I
which
can
I
I
tend
can
to.
add to that preparing for a tournament. A lot of people that play Saturday mornings, they don't want to travel the night before. So if they have a 2.5 hour ride to wherever they're playing Saturday morning, they have to get up extra early to make that trip, and then they're sleep deprived all day. They're not getting the rest they need beforehand.
I tell you what, that was my biggest thing back in the day is uh, not only that is driving, 2 to 3 hours for a tournament, and it's just not good on the body. You get up earlier. I'd always drive in the night before, grab a small hotel, sleep in it, and the next morning I'll be fresh. Another thing too is hydrate. We talked about this too when I was there, but getting a lot of, they have this. I was doing liquid IV in the past. There's something out there called Water Boy that's supposed to be really good right now. But on a Saturday tournament, I start hydrating on a Thursday night, and I'm not talking about consuming a lot. See, I don't like that look.
Chad texted me our Hawaii rep and said, "Smile more. You look like Uncle Dave."
That ain't right, man. I tell you,
It's
the
all.
worst is Christian. You ever did a podcast with Christian?
I have
He's
not.
Mr.
No.
Grumpy on a podcast. Look at the old podcast from last. Look at the old podcast from last year. And I know Christian's going to talk to me tomorrow about this shit. I might be suspended another day. Who gives a shit? I was suspended today. But the one thing, guys, too, is they suspended me for the senior side, not the U-Trip side. I knew I could come on tonight. So tomorrow I'll have my day and not do anything and shit like that. But Christian's the worst at not smiling. You think I'm bad? Christian does not smile. Um, and but the hydration part, and I'd start hydrating on a Thursday, and then I drink just one PD, not PD light, one water boy, which I'm drinking now. One water boy in the morning, and then that's it. Water the rest of the day, and at night, after I'm done playing, I'll drink another either liquid IV or a water boy. I heard water boy's pretty good. I don't know if you guys have heard that about that new drink. It's called a water boy. It's a hydration drink. Supposed to be a
Then you
lot
have
better
your
stuff.
Gatorades and your Powerades. I'm not a big fan of them because of their high sugar content. Um, but I'm a high fan of Body Armor. It's coconut water and low sugar. That is something we kind of lean more towards.
I just saw that the other day. It was at the store. It's called Body Armor, right?
You've never heard of it?
No, I just seen it the other day. I just heard about it. I was in the store the other day and I saw it called Body Armor.
Oh yeah, it come out way back.
See,
I
I
was
didn't
still
know.
young and playing baseball when it come out. They make all of their drinks are made with coconut water and a low sugar content. You know, we like those a lot more than our Powerades and our Gatorades.
And that's good for you too. That's good stuff. What do you do when you're getting ready for a tournament? What do you do?
I
Here's the
always
deal too. I know you don't do a lot because you're a kid because you got all
right.
this energy, but
My
someday,
my
when do
biggest
you
thing is
hit?
just
Let me ask
rest.
you this. When do you hit for a tournament?
I never hit the day before. You know, me and you had talked about. I never take VP the day before a tournament. Um, I will try to hit around Wednesday if I'm playing on Saturday.
Yeah, definitely hit Wednesday and then rest on Thursday and Friday, and you should be fresh on Saturday when you're going to play. Y'all usually play on Saturdays, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Do
Most
y'all
of the
take
time.
morning BP?
Sometimes not. We like to
Yeah,
tap. We'll
that
get on the field and tap before and just try and kind of find our cut swings.
yeah, that's a plus. If y'all guys can take morning BP, if not, guys, when I would take morning BP, no more than 10 swings, no less than 5. I'm just in there, and if I can feel it, I'll feel it. The one thing I do too is I don't hit till I feel it. I got a number in my head. It might be 10. Okay, I feel I'm a little tight. I'm gonna go in there. I take 10. If I hit a shitty ball in the 10, I'm still out of there. Right? You want to be hungry. You want to be hungry walking into a tournament, and thinking about, hey, I need to focus here. It's things like that. I wouldn't sit there and hit. I've seen guys get up there and hit 30 to 40 balls and not make it into Sunday because they're just so tired.
Yeah,
They're
I mean,
spent.
I would definitely say, you know, just swing until you find where you want to be. I wouldn't sit in there and you're not taking a whole BP session the morning of.
If you don't find it by 15, you ain't finding it. I'm telling you, if you don't find it by 15, it's something else. Go do a lot more stretching because if you don't find it by 15, you ain't finding it. That's how come I said. And then, do y'all guys do any kind of what Brandon Murray is probably one of the, well, Bill Blake was back in the day too, but Brandon Murray, I've watched him before Vegas last year, and he gets locked in. Like when he's taking BP before the day before he plays, he just hit the look on his face is different, and he gets locked in. Billy Blake was that same way back in the day too, because I would pitch to him whenever he go out of town and play, and he would just get locked in, and his face would just change. He'd get up there and he goes, try to get me out. He would tell me that, and I would throw in balls, and he would let balls go, but he'd always focus on the ones I'm trying to sneak by him, and then he would just murder it because he put himself in game situations. That's another thing too for the U-Trip kids out there that want to come up on your when you're training to go to a tournament. You always visualize, the game on the line and take 10 cuts of just the game on the line, where the runners are at. What do you have to do? Hit a base hit or hit a home run. That's the one thing I learned from Billy back in the day. And I kept doing that all through my career, and it actually helped me be a good clutch hitter because you've already visualized the game situations. I know Brandon Murray did that where I got, damn, he's getting locked in where he's just ready to go. And every ball he hit would just whack, just, and I'm like, I knew I didn't talk to him about it, but I knew what he was doing. A lot of the guys that top 1% do that. They get actually locked in. They call it locked in for the tournament the next day. And that way he gets up in the tournament. He's already done it and did it the day before. So it's not really that bad. But again, Brandon Murray wasn't up there hitting 30 balls either. He was getting his 10 cuts in, getting ready, go. And that guy eats good. If you ever sit down and watch him or with him when he eats, we ate with him last year. He knows his carbs. He knows complex carbohydrates. He knows simple carbs. Stays away from the simple. He does a lot of glycogen storage, for your muscles the night before, and then he eats a little breakfast in the morning. He's got a regimen on everything he does, which makes him the player that he is right now in his 50s. And he can hit it, man. That guy can hit it. He'd be one of those guys that I'd like to bring on this channel and just talk to him about it, being prepared for tournaments, and got them kids get up there and watch what he does.
Yeah,
Watch what he talks about doing.
Brandon's one of the best people I've had the pleasure of taking the ball field with.
He likes talking about.
He likes talking. He is probably, if not the most, one of the most humble people I've ever met in my life, and he is that guy that I look up to.
Definitely. The guy you can learn a lot of things from. He has no problem sitting at a ballpark talking to a kid, or talking to a senior, for an hour and not being worried about where he's got to go. You know,
Absolutely.
well, that's one of the reasons, one of the many reasons why he's with us, because he's that ambassador. Here's the deal too, Cage. And you know this. You got to be you have to have the mind. You have to have the mind of a teacher. You got to want to teach. If you don't want to teach and you want to be, and I've seen them out there. I was going to say a name, but you see them out there that just don't give a shit and think about themselves. And there's a few out there that don't want to talk to you about it. I think they're bothered by somebody coming up. We don't have any of them guys that do that. If we did, they would get in trouble and they wouldn't be with us for a long time. But we're always wanting to teach and people that want to get to that level, because there's a lot more of them than there is the other ones that want to get to that top level and play. It doesn't matter if it's ASA, U-Trip, fast pitch. It doesn't matter. Senior ball, which I usually concentrate on. But I think what we need to do here and is on the U-Trip market, and you'll throw ASA in there too, is you need to grab this and take it going forward, and then I'll be on, run it off your platform, and then I'll be on next week, and then you can call in your boys and talk to them about, are you new guys that you just got on, and take over that, and if we had somebody later on, because you got to have somebody later on that wants to take it over, because I think you'll be seasoned by that time. You won't want to let it go, because it takes a certain person to get up here, and I think you got it, but it takes a certain person to get up here and talk for an hour and 11 minutes, and don't care about who you're talking to over here, and don't care about how many people are on there. And some nights are different than other nights, and just sit there and carry conversation. The deal about you're so tuned in with USSSA and ASA that I'm 25 years out of that. I know a lot about senior ball, and I know it's different with U-Trip, because what you have to do is, it's not so much a distinct, bat speed, diminishing bat speed with your U-Trip. So you're going to try to put them in something that weight distribution numbers, a balanced bat, flexing the handles, stuff like that, or maybe that
Exactly. You're
bat speed.
looking at, what bats from other companies were they previously swinging and trying to fit them appropriately.
Is that the biggest the biggest concern is what this is what they've swung, and they're trying to get in one of ours. I talked to a guy today, the same thing I was talking to, because he had asked me, hey, I swing a 26 ounce. Should I get a, he's talking about the DDT, the jawbreaker. Should I get a 26.5? And I'm like, well, what bat did you swing? Because I don't think a lot of U-Trip guys out there know that all different bat companies have a different weight distribution number. So I've got to actually ask them, okay, what were you swinging? And you know what a guy did to me today? He says, I'm not going to tell you. He goes, but what I am going to do is I'm going to want you to tell me what I was swinging. He gave me the weight distribution numbers on 4 bats. And those bats are 7 years old. And they were senior bats. And he goes, you tell me what I'm swinging. And I'm like, okay, you're swinging this bat right here, because that's what their weight distribution numbers are. And I said, and this bat right over here. And I said, they were 27 ounces. And I said, I bet you they were in loads. And he goes, yes, both of them were. And you're 100% right. I said, because I can remember the hand weight was high. There was only 2 bat companies 7 years ago that had high hand weight. And I picked them out just by his weight distribution numbers. And he goes, okay, I'm going to buy a short porch. I'm going to buy the, because I already knew what he had. I told him what he had. I'm not going to say it on camera, but I told him exactly what he had. And he goes, damn, that's pretty good. I said, because I swung all of them. I did the weight distribution numbers at all the 26, 27, 28, because 25s didn't come out till later, earlier. And I said, well, the problem is you want a jawbreaker, but jawbreakers ain't, they got him in Alan Hancock. And then what you need to do is you need to go, because I knew what his numbers were, you need to go down a little bit, because
Absolutely.
our weight distribution numbers are different.
Yeah,
You don't have to go to a 27, you go to a 26.5, something like
it,
that.
it was just like today. I gave you a call about a senior bat I wasn't familiar with, trying to fit a guy, and you
Yeah.
gave me some numbers and helped me out there. But on the U-Trip side, there's one company that if they were swinging that, I've always put them in a balance bet because of how high their hand weights are.
Yeah.
And they've always been comfortable. If you can get weight distribution numbers close, I can I can fit you for a bat and make you more than happy.
Definitely. Last year, I was at the booth with Todd, um, Todd Cox, and this guy walks up and he goes, he actually told me I'm a logger, and he was 50 years old, dude. And he was ripped. He goes, I'm a logger, and I looked at his forearms and they're huge. His hands, he shook my hand. His hand was big, and he was only like 5'8", 5'9". And he goes, what bat would fit me? And I go, what's your previous bat? So he threw it up here. I said, so you're looking for a balance bat? He goes, no, it's not a balance bat. I said, yeah, it is a balance bat. He goes, what does that say? And he picks the bat up. He picks the bat up and he goes, what does that say right there? And I go, I don't give a shit what that says. I'm telling you, it's a balance bat. So I said, stop. I said, I got out the weight distribution. I got out my scale, and he had 12-ounce handle weight. It was a 28-ounce bat. He had a 12-ounce handle weight. And I
That's not
go,
even a balance anymore. That's a counterbalance.
yes, that is horrible. And I go, I know that they load their bats with high hand weight. And then he pulls out another bat from another bat company. I said, that too is a balance bat, you know?
Yeah,
And he goes, what the?
that first bet you just mentioned right there about having 12 ounces on the hands and a 28 that you told him was actually a balance bat. I'm talking about the same company. The same company. I've always fit for balance bats in our bats. You know,
You know who I'm talking. You know what I'm talking because you've been doing this
I
for a
know
while. You know what I'm
I know
talking
the
about.
exact scenario of what company you're talking about. Some companies are just they have high hand weights, brittle barrels, and it works to take stress off the barrels, but performance wise, it's severely going to hurt you.
And let me explain something to you guys. They're not doing it because they don't know. They're doing it because they're taking stress off the barrel. They're saving the barrel. That's why they're doing it, which lessens the performance a little bit. You got to have a badass barrel to handle that big end load. I say a big end load compared to them a big end load. So our handle weight's 8.8. Our average handle weight. This is the deal too, guys. Our average handle weight wig popper, right, is 8.8 on the hands on a 26-ounce. 8.8 on the hands and 16.8 on the end. That's about right. 8.8 on the hand, 16.8 on the end, right? That's our average. Then you're going to go up in increments of more on the end than you are on the hands, but it never will go the opposite directions. What you get in a lot of the back companies out there is on a 26-ounce, they'll load the hands more than they load the end. So the higher you go, the less performance. I said this when senior softball bat reviews. The higher you go in ounce, the less performance because it's taking a lot more stress on the 27 and 28 off that barrel. So they're trying to save the barrel the more weight you go up.
Right.
But we
You
don't
know,
do that.
with being able to manufacture our own composites and materials, we have found the ways to make durable barrels, so we can load our bats appropriately to maximize performance.
Definitely, yeah. That's what we need to get across to the U-Trip guys out there. Because if you guys are watching this and you're U-Trip, we got up to 30, 32 tonight. If you got and you're going to come back and watch this again too. The one thing you have to understand about us, let me explain it here to you. And I know I should let Case talk more, but that's just me. Let me explain to you something. We do not get our material from China. We manufacture our own material here in the United States, and we fly it to China, and they use it to make our bats and our bats only, and then they fly it back to us, our bats, right? And we only send them the material that they're going to use for our product. And our DDTs are made, right? They actually are designed at Short Porch. Or DDTs, when they first came out, are designed at Short Porch with the people from Short Porch. And that is we make a, what do they call it? A mold of that DDT. It's over there in China. They make all those connections. They make all that weighted material in the middle, and then they put our bats together and fly them back over with our Kevlar. Our Kevlar is, here's nothing too, guys. Our Kevlar is made in the liquid state, not in the sheeted state. Our Kevlar is made through Jeff Kessler and Leslie on that liquid part. That's what I need you guys to understand. It's the U-Trip guys out there. We don't buy sheets of Kevlar. Our Kevlar is not like anybody else's Kevlar. We try to explain that with the senior market when it came back to 8 months ago, and it's working. We will stay with Kevlar from here on out. there'll be another version of Kevlar next year that your dad is working on right now, a different kind, because we can do that because it's in a liquid state. So if you guys have ever swung a short porch or want to swing a short porch, what you're going to get is there's not going to be any inconsistencies in the barrel because it's made in USA. The Kevlar is made in USA. So that's what you're going to get when you get a part of short porch or be a part of short porch. And I just wanted to put that out there because I've explained that on the senior market, but this is different. It's on that that U-trip market, and to get you guys to actually, that's why our bats are ranking #1 when it comes to the Jawbreaker and the U-trip. With a lot of the bat review people out there are ranking high. With another, he says, another good bat reviewer out there talked about it and said it was it was a good bat, and then the other one said it's number best bat he's ever swung. Had guys with him that said it's the best bat that they've ever swung. And we're all about perfection. We're all about getting things out there that better equipment for a lot of you guys out there too, and across the board with everybody.
Yeah, what I've been trying to get through people's heads is, our composites aren't like anybody else's composites. You can't find anything similar to ours. You don't have any other bat companies studying different materials and different composites and polymers, trying to see how different composites compress at impact when swinging. And, we just do it differently. Nobody is studying and manufacturing like we do.
One thing I will add on to that too, guys, and there's a couple of things I do want to do. We are the only company, and I've talked to for 15 years. I've talked to all the other companies. We're the only company that we have a tent up in Vegas, everybody that builds bat will be in that tent. Everybody that has a say so will be in that tent so we can talk to you. The owner of the company, Jeff Kessler, plays softball. He is part owner with Leslie. Leslie is a chemical engineer. And I got to go through this because we've got U-Trip guys that are up here tonight. But she's a chemical engineer. She knows, do not get her to talk. I don't like talking to her because once you get her talking about all those materials that she does, it's kind of hard. My brain is just like going because she pulls out some big words I don't understand. So, but what I'm saying is we do testing. We do robotic testing. That's different than a lot of other people that do Canon testing. Jeff has got his hands into everything. Leslie's got her hands into everything. You're not going to find another bat company out there that does that. We do hit tracks. I know you're on that a lot. The videos that you see coming from Cage is on hit tracks. We're doing exit velo numbers, right, on balls that we hit. Prototypes. When I was in Savannah, Georgia, I bet I've seen 3 different prototypes that nobody's ever thought about developing. Cutting bats open that he has over there around him, and in his room right there with Cage, he's got bats that have been cut open that have been used. Technology you guys can't even fathom that is out there. And the deal about it,
those things nobody would ever come to think of.
No.
Last time you were here, you were mind blown, and hell, I was too. I wouldn't have thought of it.
No.
And it's just those different things you have to think outside of the box, and it's definitely something Dad's been working hard at.
Oh, definitely. Another thing too, I do want to tell you guys too, because I know there's some haters out there, and I know that a lot of people talk shit. We are Short Porch. Nobody owns us. No other bat company can even come close to us in our opinion, me and Cage, but we're biased. We work for the company. Nobody owns us. We don't go in partnership with any other bat company out there. We're not affiliated with anybody out there. We are an entity of our own, and we do our own shit, right? We don't answer to anybody either. We don't have a board. Leslie and Jeff are the board, right? And they want to build the best product out there. You guys that are coming across in U-Trip, and I know you guys are getting bigger, and you're looking for something, we don't try to reinvent the wheel. We push the envelope, and we test and test and test stuff, and we pay the money to test, because every time you test, you got to pay money. So we have no problem paying the money to go in a different direction. We that's just what we do. And I just want to put that out there that we're not, I keep on hearing that we're affiliated with this. No, we're not. We're Short Porch and Short Porch alone. Leslie and Jeff own the company, They don't talk to anybody. They're not in bed with anybody. They're not doing partnership anywhere. Nothing like that. We are Short Porch, and that's
Yeah,
it.
we make our own decisions. We don't answer to anybody but ourselves.
Definitely. And our balls are all balls that we don't we our material and our balls. I want to get that across too, because that's part of it. We started off as a ball company, but our balls are our balls with our material. We don't mass produce with other companies our balls and then get them shipped in. We don't do that.
Yeah,
I don't.
we manufacture our balls the same way. The same route that we do our bats. We manufacture all our materials here in the
Yeah,
states, fly them over, and have our manufacturers mold them and build them.
definitely. We're just not affiliated with any. We don't order balls, mass produce balls. Those are all balls with our material that we fly over there. I just wanted to make that because we got to. Here's the deal too. When you got seniors coming in, and I'm a lot of you guys out there are seniors. When you got seniors coming in, you got to retalk everything like we did years ago. Well, not years ago, last year, when it came to the senior market. So these guys got to understand that we're not a part of anybody else. A lot of people, a few people said it. There's if you guys see our emblem on another bat, that's not us. We are Short Porch. We don't, this is our emblem, although that's been stolen from someone, but we don't give a shit. But that's that's I know, dude. I'm gonna get in trouble, and I'm trying
We're
not to say the name of them, and I don't know why they did it.
I'm just gonna get suspended because I'm here. That's not fair.
Well, guilty by association, man. You know you're gonna get suspended. I can throw some f bombs out there and get you really suspended. What I can do, but I'm not gonna do that to you. I don't want to. I don't want to scare you off when it comes to the senior market, because I want you to prosper, young grasshopper. I want you to be the guy, and I don't think that it's going to take long. I want you to be the guy everybody goes to when it comes to that U trip. I'll be there with you to talk to you about, because here's the deal too, guys. I need to say this too. Cage knows a lot of shit. I kind of tested him when he was down here in San Antonio. We went up to the ranch and we talked and talked and talked, and he knows a lot more shit than he might think that he talks to you guys about, or you guys might think. But the guy knows his shit. I was impressed with his intelligence when it comes to bat building. And I actually told you, remember, I said, what are you doing over your dad's shoulder every time he does something? You're like right there looking at him. And I guarantee it's when you're around, when your dad is that top tier bat builder, it's just hard not to get any overflow from what he's talking about or what
Yeah,
he's testing out.
you definitely learn a lot. Yeah,
No,
there's a
definitely.
lot you can learn from somebody like my
Oh
dad.
shit, yeah. There's a lot, and I think that's amazing. And later on, are you already there? I mean, you already know everything. The only thing that like the weight distribution numbers, that's the only thing that from another back company coming over and getting Short Porch, but you didn't you're young, you didn't hit all them bats. I did, so I can tell you right off the top of my head
That was
what better
exactly
bat.
why I had you send me over that whole list and sheet of numbers, um, of all the bats you and all the information you gathered while you were with senior softball bat reviews.
Yeah, it definitely, it's like 4 or 5 pages of it. And here's another thing too, guys, and I think that's going to be important. Is I have a website. It's called shortporchcuttingedge.com. I have all the weight distribution numbers almost. I did a lot today of the senior product. I think Cage was talking to me about we need to do that on the U-Trip side, is get a lot of weight distribution numbers on those U-Trip side and put them up there too. Or even getting, on the website, even the Short Porch website that you are with, is getting some video in there on us swinging those U-Trip bats, and then getting weight distribution numbers on all the U-Trip models, because I think that's the future. I think where it's going, especially that U-Trip side, we're going to start doing weight distribution and start thinking about the way we think. I talked to Peyton, and Peyton's on board about doing all that weight distribution, what bat better fits him, what he would swing. He's a big Short Porch banana milkshake fan. He swung Stacy Cars and he loves it. Actually, he dumped another brand just to go apart of and swing that. He was going to order one before we sent him one of that banana milkshake that Stacy lent him. He said he lit it up. He loved that bat, So what I would tell him is get those weight distribution numbers, and that would be your favorite bat from here on out. I'd actually put him in a a heavier one because I think he swung a 25, and I think that's what we sent him. But he's a left-hander too and goes oppo. So what I was telling him about, you need to get a jawbreaker, a DDT, because if you're a left-hander, you go oppo and you go up the middle. Just think of the performance that's going to be on that bat, because it does
Right.
help
Because
the
you have to
oppo
remember
pitcher.
all that energy stays in the barrel.
Yes, and I think that's a big plus for him because he's a left-hander and he goes oppo for base hits and hits with power. And I think that would help him. He's more of a base hit guy. He did tell me that the other day on Peyton. He's more of a base hit guy. He's a high average guy. He can hit home runs, but he's a high average guy. I actually had some today. Do you ever get this too? You ever get videos of guys swinging and they want you to fit them into a bat, right? Or they want you to tell them, do I have a low bat speed, medium bat speed, or high bat speed? That's how critical this shit is getting, because I got 3 different videos today. I'm going, what's this? I need to know what kind of bat I can swing. And right away, it was close enough where I can tell them, okay, you got quick hands, you got quick bat. I would put you in a jawbreaker that actually can hold up that barrel. That barrel can hold up that fast bat speed on that jawbreaker, or even Adam's bat. We don't have any though, but Adam's bat, when they come on, that bat would be amazing. That one piece bat would be amazing for him too, because of the bat speed that he has. And then a lower bat speed, maybe going in toward the banana milkshake, which that bat, for some reason, Clem and Trey love that bat. He did a video today, and I don't know if he's got one. Yeah, you didn't send us any. That's another thing too we need to talk about. We didn't get any. Got to talk to your dad about that one, what he did to me, right? Because he's gonna sell out on them. I said, hey, it's okay if I get 2 of those, banana milkshake. He's like, nope. And then he hung up the phone, man. I'm like, dude, I don't know what it is, man. It's got Texas thing, I think is what it is. He goes, Dave, we're going to sell out before you even get to you. That's that one thing, man. I don't get nothing. I'm not crying about it. I don't get anything. I'm 4 days away, and they figure they're going to sell out in 4 days. So why send them one? I'll be out there putting video out. Where did I get them from? Well, they're sold out already. Then why don't I have the bat? I'm like the kid that I only call once a day, once every couple of days to get talked to. If it wasn't for you, I would get no phone calls, because we talk about hunting all the time.
It's
So
just
I'm
like the
happy, right?
conversations we were having
I'm at the
yesterday.
house doing my work. Is your dad there?
It's just me.
No, I'm probably gonna get in trouble. I'll be suspended for another week for this shit. So yeah. Anything else? We going for an hour and a half, dude.
So what?
I said, anything else? We've been going for an hour and a half.
No, not that I can quite think of. I would definitely, if you're looking for a banana milkshake or a hot chicken, I definitely hop on board and go ahead and grab you one before we're sold out. And this, I would predict,
Okay,
in
let me ask you this. What do we have there? We have pickle juice?
we have a handful of the 2-piece pickle juices in stock, a very few, slim amount. And then we have banana milkshakes in all ounces, 24 ounces, 24, 25, 26, and 27. And the banana milkshake, 25.5 and 26.5, and the hot chicken.
Any KV25s?
I believe there's one.
One, and that's it.
126.
That was a good bet. I did like that bet. Even I like that bet. Another thing too, you guys got questions? Ask the questions, right? Before we get off, ask the questions. We'll answer them next week. That's where we're going to work this from here on out. If we're on here, we don't like looking at questions, because we actually, try to find out. Usually, you guys are talking. These guys are talking to each other, and they're asking a question that's to the other guy, and we're like, well, we try to read it, and we're already messed up. And I get that. I'm old. So I get that squirrel moment where I'm looking over to the side and I don't think about anything else. But you guys got questions, ask them. And then next week we'll answer a lot of those questions. We'll put on bullet points and answer the question on that U-Trip side, not the senior side, on the U-Trip side out there. Well, buddy, thanks for coming on. And again, let's do this. If you want to do it again next week, run it off you. And then you can have some of your guys come in, because I think this would be badass, especially with the people watching tonight. Had a good group of people watching tonight. I think this would be badass, and have you take over that USSSA part of it. We'll let you guys know when the jawbreakers are getting here, and with that Adam Fowler USSSA bats getting here. We still have senior jawbreakers in there, right? We still have senior jawbreakers in there.
Yeah, I put one of every ounce on the website today. It was 125.5, 126.5, 127.5,
And
and
they're
one.
almost gone then, right?
I'm not sure what's left.
Okay, listen, they're almost gone with us, not with everybody else. All the reps out there, they still have them out there, and you might be able to find them on some sporting goods store too. I don't know which ones have, so I don't want to talk about that.
Yeah, I'm sure
But
Phantom Sports has some still.
oh, definitely, they're always our backup on, and our reps are backup for that too on Phantom Sports. But you guys got any questions? Ask us and we'll answer them again next week. Cage will be running it next week, and then have a few guys on Cage to talk. And I'll come on too to get you started off, and then I'll get off. Basically, updates, on everything that's going on, and then you can talk to a few of your guys out there because I know you got a ton, and they can come on and you can have a day of it. So, thanks for coming on, bud.
Sounds good. Thanks for having me.
All right, buddy. I'll call you in a minute.
Sounds good.
Make sure I don't get in trouble. I don't get suspended. Make sure I didn't say anything bad tonight. So definitely look at guys. The one thing I do like, and I keep seeing this come across the board right there, is one thing we do want to do, and I'm going to get off here in a minute, but one thing we do want to do is ever since this U-Trip, these U-Trip bats have taken off, I've been getting a lot of friend requests. I haven't had it this good on friend request in a long time. And I like that. I like that people are wanting to jump on board with Short Porch because we got a bunch to offer. And a lot of the ladies, because here's the deal too, and I always thought this, back in the day too, on the ladies' side, guys, you ladies can't just pick up any U-Trip back out there and get performance on it. You're going to have to do a little bit more research, and I think a lot that has to do with barrel flesh, softness of the barrel, and I do see a lot of ladies joining in and listening, and going forward, it's all about barrel performance, and I think there's no other company out there, in my opinion, and I do work for them, so I'm a little biased. No other company has as good quality product as ours, bar none, bar none. Nobody has it. And I think you guys that are going to jump on this USSSA bandwagon that we're starting right now, and then ASA, the DDT, we talked about that, the ASA DDT bat, that's going to be coming out probably after Vegas. There's things that we're working on. We're working on fast pitch models, DDTs and regular fast pitch models. And that's a new avenue, new area that we're going to. But you ladies need to stay tuned. More involved than the men's part, because they have that 100-mile-an-hour bat speed, and you can basically fit them in anything that's going to flex. And we're more concerned about durability. Another thing too, guys, we're more concerned about durability and compression levels, holding compression levels, and that Kevlar is doing it in that senior market, and we're pretty sure that's going to do it in that U-Trip market too, on that holding durability and what kind of response you can get off the barrel with that Kevlar material that we use, our own material. And you ladies benefit a lot because Kevlar is a little softer but stronger. So you ladies going to benefit a lot if you're swinging in the U-Trip area, one of our bats. Again, I'm on tomorrow night. I'm on again tomorrow night. I've got a lot to talk about, but it's more that senior side. If you guys want to kind of join in on that and kind of listen to what I have to say, I won't talk about this. This channel is going to be mainly talking about workout routines, and I didn't get to all of them tonight. Supplementation, what will make you a better hitter, a better player. Even a better weekend warrior. You guys play USSSA. I did it back in when I was your age too. On the weekends, just playing. It's going to make you a better player if you just tune in, listen to what we have to say, or go back and listen to what we have to say. It helped me out, and it's a different, like Short Porch is. The way that I think is a different way. It's not the same reinventing the wheel all the time. When it comes to U-Trip bats, we didn't reinvent a U-Trip bat. We built our own U-Trip bat. Same thing with seniors. That's why we got the top selling senior bat, in my opinion, out there right now with the Blackout OG. This is the way we do stuff. We don't do it. We don't reinvent the wheel. We use our own material. So I think the ladies and the masses, the mass of the not the top 1%. I call the top 1% the conference players. We don't build bats for them. We build bats for the average person out there. And we're going to apply bat speed in there too. You're a slap hitter, you're a leadoff hitter. You would go with a different bat because you need a little bit softer barrel, get barrel response, hitting that ball sharply through the infield. You need, bat speed ties into that too. Not as much with, because a lot of you guys that are watching this tonight have a high bat speed, except for the ladies. It's not ripping on the ladies, and not, I said this in seniors too. It's just that, you need something with a little bit flex, a little bit softer barrel, in that U-trip market. And I think you girls out there, you ladies out there have been pushed to the side for a long time when it came to U-trip bats. And maybe we can get you guys on the right track. Thanks again, guys. I'll be on tomorrow talking for about an hour, mainly not about bats too much, but maybe about nutritional stuff for seniors.